Good morning, student. Welcome to today class. Today we will discuss student peer teaching and innovative approach. Using innovative method of teaching is a curricular scale for teacher and education staff. Scientific research has shown that innovative teaching method and approaches can significantly enhance the student learning process. Innovating our teaching strategies is no easy fact. Can be scary because just like our student, it plays use out uh, over uh, uh, conf- uh, comfort zone in a position where we can fail. So new method and strategies we can improve student engagement, motivation, and attainment, and is a win for both student and teacher. In this lecture, I will try to explain peer teaching method and how we will use this method in our class. First, I will discuss learning objective of this method. Student will be able to comprehend the concept and define the meaning of peer teaching. Student will be able to analyze and understand peer teaching. Student will be able to know the importance of peer teaching. Student will be able to know the types of peer teaching. Student will be able to acknowledge the objective of peer teaching. Student will be able to comprehend the role of teacher in peer teaching. Student will be able to know the demerits of peer teaching. Student will be able to use role of peer teaching for their learning skills. Peer teaching was first organized as a theory by Scotsman Underway Bell in 1795. Later implemented into French and English school in 19th century. Over the past 30-40 years, peer teaching has become increasingly. According to Duke 1993, peer teaching can enhance learning by enabling learner to take responsibility for reviewing, organizing, and consolidating existing knowledge and material. Understanding its basic structure, filling in the gap, finding additional meaning, and reformulating knowledge into new conceptual frameworks. Help from peers increase learning both for the student being helped as well as for those giving the given the help. For the student being helped, the assistance for their peers enable them to move away from dependency on teacher and gain more opportunities to enhance their learning. For the student, giving the help, the cooperative learning group serve as opportunities to increase their own performance. They have to enhance to experience and learn that teaching is the best teacher. Ferber and Webb, 1990, 1994. According to Bound, peer learning is obviously close related. We define peer learning in its broader sense. Then a student learning from and with each other in both formal and informal way. The emphasis is on the learning process, including the emotional support that learner offers each other as much as the learning task itself. In the peer teaching, the roles of teacher and learner are fixed. Whereas in peer learning, they are either undefined or maybe shift during the course of the learning experiences. Staff may be actively involved as a group facilitator, or they may simply initiate student direct activities such as workshop or learning partnership. Peer teaching is one of the best way to master a particular subject. It is a method of teaching where a student instruct another student, where in the former will be the expert and the later on a novice. This powers the learner student to learn without depending upon the teacher, and the teacher student receive the topic again on the belief that to teach is to learn twice. Through the direct interaction between student, peer teaching promote active learning as well as the participation within themselves. Student teacher enhance their own depth of knowledge in the topic by instructing other. Now we will discuss types of peer teaching. One way peer teaching. This way of peer teaching provide only the trained tutor to teach, whereas the child with some kind of disability will remain passive. This method will be more useful for teaching a student with some disorder like autism, visual impairment, or cerebral palsy. The main merit of this method is that teacher as well as the student will be well aware of their roles throughout the entire teaching and learning program. Duplex or reciprocal peer teaching. This is a two-way or bidirectional teaching process where a student with a disability is paired with a student without disability to form a yard, and both of them will get chance to teach and learn. This method is more useful to bring the activeness in children with moderate disabilities. The main advantage of this method is that every individual will get a chance to play the role of the teacher as well as the that of the student simultaneously. Class-wide peer tutoring. This method of teaching involving grouping the entire class into pairs and peers mentoring each other by giving, promote, error correction and helping each other. This method is incompatible because every student is given cue cards for the task to keep them focused on the goal of the chapter, and then the tutor takes cue cards and marks the skill mastered by the particular student. The main benefit of this approach is that no student is a single out, and that every student has to participate regardless of their disabilities. Cross gap peer tutoring. Cross age peer teaching is a method of tutoring when children in a different age group and ability levels are paired together to work for a task. The elder or the student with a higher level of intelligence will be assigned as the tutor, whereas the other will be tutees. This method will help them to improve their interpersonal skills too. In short, peer teaching is all about teaching peers and learning from their peers, where involves learn and teachers of the same or different age group or levels of intelligence. This assist of teaching help the student to enhance their teaching skills. In addition to this, they get a platform to perform what they know, which will power them to drive away from the stage fear within themselves. Now we will discuss strategy for peer teaching success. When planning a peer learning exercise, refer to this list of recommendations that you use the strategies that best apply to you. First one is role play. Role playing proper practice will supplement or our explanation, giving student clear examples and reference point of about what we accept from them. It means role play giving the clear point what we accept from them. Let's say our class is about to start a series of reading buddies activities. After reading a passage aloud, act out a scene that focus on giving and reviewing praise and feedback. Then explore why your comments where are not effective. You can also pair students to try this activity themselves. Basically, role play teaching method is a participatory teaching method. In role play, a student learning by doing, and role play method is you basically follow the pragmatism theory. And role play student express their feeling, they learn how to well communicate with other person, create a reward system to keep elementary student focused, openly acknowledge proper behavior with rewards. For example, each time a tutor provide proper feedback, give him or her a blank ticket. You can give duties ticket every time they successfully implemented feedback. At the end of each week, have students submit their tickets and hold a drawn. Winners will get a small prize. This is reward is also one type of motivation technique to improve student uh, learning. Teach tutoring skills. Different activities call for different approaches. So, of which tutor should have a basic understanding, consider running exercise to each student about. Directive tutoring, the tutor fills the tutor's knowledge gap, explain and exemplifying how to reach specific solution. To do so, the tutor must be confident in his or her own ability and knowledge. Non-directive tutoring, the tutor asks open-ended question, guiding duties for his or her own conclusion about uh, a given topic. To do so, the tutor should understand when and how to pose uh, throughout provoking questions. Explain how to give feedback. Feedback is a core aspect of peer teaching. Meeting will should interact student how to give it. Student inevitably give two types of feedback during peer teaching activity. Positive feedback, this act as encouragement, sometimes calls praise. It should be honest and natural. Ask student to think of meaningful compliments they are received, using them as inspiration. They can write a list of positive feedback lines, teach them to use a line when duties overcome hurdles or solve uh, touch question. Corrective feedback, this help duties receive their answer when they make objective mistakes. Tutors can explain what went wrong and demonstrate how to reach proper solution. Never give up negative feedback. Fill knowledge gap. Although promote are useful, tutor can still get stuck on content itself. That's why you should monitor your class, filling knowledge gap when needed. We cannot do this by acting as a tutor's tutor. Provide feedback, asking, guiding, and probing, questioning to lead him or her to the answer. This not only address knowledge gap but give tutors to first hand look at how to act. Select a student who want to and can tutor. If you decide to designate peer teaching role, Choosing tutors is harder than simply picking a student with the highest grades. After active class participators work hard to achieve high grades. Interact well with others, regardless of factors such as a gender or socioeconomic status. Identifying learning objectives, providing clear goal for tutors and tutors usually keep activities on track. Focus on active learning. Exercise should always allow for active learning. After all, peer teaching inherently relies upon communication and collaboration between students. This means the activities should naturally present chances for a student to identifying issue, ask question and explain their ideas. Some popular option are role play, case study, reading buddy sessions, problem based learning scenarios. Stress conflictivity, stress confidently, as you explain, is given peer teaching activity, clarify with confidently is important, especially student should not take about their partner's issue uh, with friends. So when using peer teaching strategy to in class, always motivate your student to actively participate in the class. Advantage and importance of peer teaching: increase literacy score. Student who read and discuss story passage with their peers recall more content and score higher on assessment. Develop reasoning and critical thinking skill. Students who work in pairs and groups typically perform better on tests that involve reasoning and critical thinking. This is a largely because students must become active learners, discussing and retentionalizing lesson concept in their own words. Improve confidence and interpersonal skills. Many studies about peer teaching point to student building confidence and communication ability. Pioneering research from 1998 state tutors improve self-esteem and interpersonal skill by giving feedback. Tutees realize these benefits by asking question and receiving immediate clarification. It will easy the teacher burden of responsibility because she is sharing her duties with her kids which are beneficial to them, but on the other side it will increase the teacher's role in monitoring and administrating the student. Now we will discuss some disadvantage of and limitation of peer teaching. Student in experiences. Although we can share teaching tips and guideline with the student, they won't become expert educator. There always chance the tutor want, or we can say do not properly support the tutees. Giving ineffective feedback or untouched criticism. Many peer teaching activities fail. So always make a group of peer teaching, one who have intelligent, who teach the tutees. Student hesitation. Pairing student gathered can backfire. So as some may feel inferior being taught by certain peers. On other hand, some tutees won't be put effort into the exercise as they won't be keep on it from the get go. This can lead to tense relationship and according to the same book scenario content coverage. Poor applicability. Many dictators of peer teaching says it is more effective in post secondary setting than elementary and high school. After all, adults should be capable of helping each other and effectively collaborating without teacher promote and supervision. So this is the disadvantage of peer teaching, poor applicability for primary section, lack of confidently, it many types of peer teaching scenarios, or a student can clearly see who's the tutor and who is the tutee. This means there may be too much transparency with regards to who's excelling, who's struggling. There are expectations through, for example, activities in which students take turn teaching. Parent pushback. We may not be the only who one who have identified the above mentioned problem. If the parents learn about peer teaching from their kids, they may see it in a negative light. Unless you send an explanatory letter home, be aware their uh, cloud be com- uh, complaints. These are the reference you should go through for further more study of peer teaching. Thank you, student. Listen me patiently. Have a good day.